Hello, Sandhill 3rd through 5th graders. Here is our demonstration for this week's lesson. We are going to make like a city or some different buildings using as many shapes as we can. You are welcome to use any materials that you wish. So you could use colored pencils, markers, you could use crayons, you could use a pencil, you could use a pen. If you had spare paper lying around and you wanted to cut up and glue paper, you could also do that. So how I would recommend that you start is I would recommend starting with a pencil. That way, if you make any mistakes, it's easy to erase. So I would recommend starting with a pencil. And now I'm trying to think of as many shapes as I can. And I know that there are some examples of shapes on our Google Slides that you can look back at. I think this time around, I'm gonna start with a really big triangle building. And then I think I'm gonna kind of come behind the triangle building and I'm gonna make like a step-up building. I think I'll stick with just a rectangle and maybe a smaller rectangle to finish. Now the fun part comes. I get to add all of the decorations to the building and all of the different shapes to the building and the windows. So for time's sake, I'm switching over to my thin marker, but I do recommend that you stick with that pencil because if you make a mistake, you can erase it. So I'm just gonna kind of trace this first. And actually this one I did all in a ballpoint pen. So you can use whatever materials you have around. All right, now I need to put my thinking cap on. I have to think of a ton of different shapes to fill in these buildings. I like the star shape on this building. I think I'm gonna do a bunch of triangles for that row of windows. Maybe I'm gonna switch to a rectangle. I do some upside down triangles, maybe some squares, and maybe this is the entrance of the building. Notice, I'm taking my time. I'm not in a rush. I'm taking my time and I'm taking some time to think and observe and decide what I want to add to my building. Why not? Let's do a heart. And I know we looked at the artist James Rizzi. He makes very silly buildings. So if you want to add a face to your building, you could do that. Like maybe these are going to be the windows of my building, but I'm going to add a little face. All right, I would keep going, friends, until I get completely filled up here. And now from here, I can decide how I want to color all my buildings. So maybe I just like it black and white. I like the quality of that. Or maybe I decide that I want to add some color. You can use paint. You can use markers, crayons, colored pencils. If you have oil crayons, all of that works. And actually, I'm getting kind of an idea right here. I feel like I just want to color the sky and I want to leave these buildings in black and white. And I think I want to try something new. I want to do like a night sky, but I don't want to just do it one color. So I'm getting kind of different shades of blues and purples and I'm going to do a little experiment and see if those will mix together. So again, friends, I'm taking my time. I'm taking my time when I'm coloring. There will be some art projects we do where maybe get a little messy, get a little scribbly. That's all good, that's all fine. This is one of those projects that we're gonna take our time a little bit more because we're practicing our skills. We're learning how to build up our skills. So here, I'm just coloring kind of lightly on top of my purple crayon, and it actually is mixing, if you can see. So the trick here, if you're blending crayons, is to play around with the pressure. So I'm actually coloring very lightly with this crayon, very lightly with it, so that it kind of looks like it blends in. If I color darker, you can see, I can see where it's blue and where it's purple. So if I color dark and then I actually fade and I don't press quite as much, you're going to be able to blend that almost like paint in some ways. So I think I'm going to finish doing my nighttime sky here. And then if I want to add anything in my sky, I could do that too. Now, you do not have to do your city buildings with the shapes the way that I am. If you decide, you know what, Miss Urgis, I just want to draw one building and focus on that one building, go for it. If you decide that you would like to draw a house and not a cityscape, go for it. The main thing that we're trying to practice here is getting different shapes, as many shapes as you can think of. So our geometric shapes, like our squares, like our rectangles, like our triangles, circles, and also our free-form shapes. So something like this where the edges are a little bit organic or they're not so straight. Or like you could do a moon shape, you could do a star shape. So friends, I can't wait to see what you make. I can't wait to see how creative you are. So go on and create.